Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Chrislyn and I am currently 6 months pregnant with our first baby. We are having a baby girl and could not be more excited about it. And because I am 6 months pregnant and, you know, over the halfway point, I was like, I am due to make a baby names I love but won't be using video. I love watching these videos so much. I think they're so fun to watch and just gather name inspo from. The first order of business, we do in fact have her name picked out and we are waiting to share until she's born, partly to avoid any feedback. I always say that I feel like names are either too classic for somebody or too unique for somebody else. Like, you're always gonna have that like opinion, and we just didn't really want to open ourselves up to that because we feel really confident in the name that we chose. And I feel like people tend to keep their opinions to themselves a little bit more once, you know, the baby's named. And then the other reason, being in the very, very off chance that we see her and go, oh no, that's not her name. I don't want people to be like attached to this name that we already shared with them and just have like a hard time wrapping their head around changing. But I really don't see that happening. We actually did order something with her name on it already. So in that way, we're really solid, but that was just part of the reason that we were just like, no, we're not going to share her name with anybody. That being said, it has been very entertaining hearing our family's guesses. I don't even think that anybody has ended up with a guess that is even a name on my list, or even on this list of baby names that I won't be using. So I will be curious to hear if like these are kind of names that you expected from me, or if you're like, oh, I didn't expect these. But all of that said, we do love the name that we picked out for her so much. It really feels just so perfect for us, and we just get excited thinking about it, calling her it. Like, it just fits. We really have not had any doubt on it, so like I just don't see ourselves changing it, but you know, it's not out of the realm of possibilities, but also like I'm 100% solid on this name, if you know what I mean. All of that said, it is not a common name per se. We basically told our family, like, you're never ever gonna guess it because they're really not. And so then I think that, like, their brains were just going, thinking of like these really out there names, which I wouldn't say that it's an out there name either. Like, it sounds common, if that makes any sense. Like, for example, it's not like one of our family members guessed Ophelia. So it's not like that unique sounding, but it is probably more unique than the name Ophelia. Like, less common if you looked at like a baby ranking name list or something. And our family did guess Ophelia because we love the Lumineers, so they were like looking at Lumineer songs and we were like, haha, funny but no. But I feel like we fall somewhere in between that zone of like, okay, kind of unique, like I said, like this name is not common at all really. That doesn't mean that it's like a really rare or unique sounding name, but then also we don't go like so classic with our names, like going with Lily or Isabella. I feel like we kind of fall in somewhere in that middle mark. I'll also say that her name, I feel like, does fit the like cute baby name, good adult name, good professional name. Like, we felt like it kind of fit the bill for those. And I guess the last tidbit of information or hint or whatever I will give on her name is that it does have nickname potential. That wasn't really a make or break thing for me with any of the names that I looked at, but I know my husband sometimes does think that through, and it does have a nickname that goes well with it. So like I said, I feel like we like some uniqueness to the name. I'm trying to think of like other ways to describe the baby names that I like in general. I feel like it's like maybe less common but can sound common. I think that surnames as first names are so cute. I love a sweet name, of course. And yeah, I guess that's how I would classify some of the names that I do like. But without further ado, we can jump in. I have 7 girl names and 6 boy names. Starting off with the girl names because we're having a girl, we're gonna start off with Matilda. I think that that is such a sweet name that's coming back. Like, Matilda is just such an iconic children's character, and I had never heard it before, and now I'm hearing it more commonly used as a baby name, and I just think that it's so sweet. It's just like with some of these, I just did not see us with a baby named that name. So like, I just didn't see us with a baby named Matilda. Like, it's really cute. I admire it. I love it. Like, if somebody told me their baby's name was that, I'd be like, that is the cutest thing in the world. But I just wasn't sure that it was for us. Pretty much the same thing with Margot with the OT ending. This one actually my husband didn't like. That's the other kind of like reasoning. It was either just like, oh, this is so cute, but I just admire it and never would name my baby it because it just doesn't fit for some reason. The other reasoning is probably because my husband shut it down. And I feel like Margot kind of fell into both categories. I had like brought it up to my husband and he didn't really love it. And I was like, is this one that I keep pushing for? Because sometimes he doesn't like them and then he ends up like warming up to them and then he ends up loving them. I'm segueing for a second here, but I think that's the thing with names is like I would see names, whether it was like on social media or a character in a book, however I came across it, and I would add it to my list and then I would just let it sit there. And then sometimes I'd go back into my list and be like, when the heck did I put this name on here? It's so bad, I don't like it. And then other times it would just continue to grow on me, like the more I would see it, and then it just kind of like rose up in the ranking. And as I was saying, I feel like the same would go for sharing the names with my husband. So sometimes he'd be like, I don't know, I gotta sit on this one. Margot ended up being a name that I was kind of just like, yeah, like it's really cute. I just don't know that I see us with a child named Margot. Like I love it, I love it, I love it, but I don't know if I love it for us. Okay, this one, I feel like it maybe is kind of old lady name, which maybe is some of the stuff that I like. Our dog is named Millie, which I think is so cute. I actually feel like I had a moment where I was like, should we have not named her Millie? Would I want that for a child? But I think it's so perfect for her and I do, like I'm happy with how we did it. But the name that I thought of for a baby was Ruthie. I think that's so cute. Maybe it is just the American Girl doll lover in me, but it is just such a sweet name. But I think the same thing, I was just kind of like, is this too like cutesy, sweetsy, and like it sounds cute to me right now, but maybe it isn't something that I would love long term. But also like maybe I could be persuaded. I think my husband kind of heard it and was like, I don't know, Chrislyn, I don't know about this one. Next is the name Freya, which actually there was a girl on the Great British Bake Off named Freya, and I put it on the list because I was like, that is such a sweet name. But again, I feel like ultimately it was one of those things where I was just like, do I really see us with a daughter named Freya? I think that it is so sweet. And again, same thing. If somebody was like, oh, our daughter's named Freya, I'd be like, oh my gosh, you have the cutest name for her. But I think that for some reason I just couldn't like fully wrap my head around it. This next one I thought about for like a split second for a child, but it is what we decided that if we get another dog, it will be named, and that is Clover. I think that Clover is so cute, but I ended up just kind of feeling like it was more of like a dog name for us. I think a little like puppy named Clover would be so sweet. But I mean, like even Millie, our dog's name, people are using for children now. So it's just kind of like one of those where I was like, could it be a kid's name? But then I was like, not for us. Next is Nora, which I really kind of pushed for this name a little bit with my husband and he was just not about it. I don't know why he didn't love it. I think, you know what, I think he said that like, is there a Bates Motel character? I think we watched that show like way back in college maybe, and I think it's the mom is named Nora and she's like a little bit of like a freaky character, so that probably just turned him off from the name. But I do feel like Nora is such a sweet name, but I don't think I was gonna get it from him. And then Olive, I feel like that is one that is like semi-common, and you think of like Olivia being so popular, Oliver being so popular, and then you have Olive, so sweet. I just think this was a double whammy where I was like, I don't know if I see us with an Olive, and I don't think my husband liked it very much. Maybe Olive falls in the grandma name category too. Anyways, I think it's sweet, but just not for us. So that's the roundup on my girl names. I feel like it gave like a little bit of an idea of some names that I liked, but it's so hard because there's so many that are still on my list for just, you know, future babies that I couldn't like let go of yet. So like it gives like an essence of some of the names I like. I have some other cute ones like on my girls list, but nothing at this point that I love as much as the name that we chose. Like I feel like the name that we chose was just such a clear front runner for us when it really came down to it. Like I feel like as we started talking about babies, we had like maybe a top like 2, but it was, I don't know, like it was just always this one. So as soon as we found out that we were having a girl, we're like, oh, she has her name. So that at least made things easy because my husband really does shut down a lot of the names that I come up with, at least initially. But Anyways, we will move on to the boy names. I'll say that if we were having a boy, we would have struggled a little bit more. We have a name that we do love, and I think it could be our boy's name if we have a boy in the future. But we were less solid on that name than we were on the girl's name that is going to be her name. But otherwise, sometimes with boys I struggle because I feel like sometimes boys can be a little bit more ruthless, so I wouldn't want to give him like a name that he would get like made fun of with. I overthought a lot more than like a girl's name for some reason. We can jump into the boy's name. So the first boy's name I have that I have pushed and pushed my husband for, because I just think that it is such a nice name, is Forrest, but my husband is just like, no, I do not like it. And I don't know if it's just like he has too much of an association with Forrest Gump, but I just think it's kind of cool because it's like naturey, but it just, I don't know, it sounds nice to me, like, oh, Forrest. I'm just not winning that battle with him, so it found itself on this list of names I love but won't be using. And next I have Dane for a boy. I think that Dane is such a nice sounding name. Like, it's kind of short, classic. It sounds good. I think one thing is I just didn't love this one with our last name, like Dane Vogt. I don't know if it's like too short. Like, it just, when I say it like that and it comes out of my mouth, I'm like, I don't like that very much. My husband also just didn't love Dane, so obviously it found itself on this list. I also feel like Olive Vote, like sometimes like the ones with the V's in them, I'm like, ooh, I don't know. Next for boys, I have the name Nolan. I really like it. My husband does not. I just think Nolan, it just sounds kind of nice, like it kind of sounds like a Colin or something like that, but it's like a little bit more unique maybe. Oh, the name Wells. I love this name. If you know who Allison Bickerstaff is, she just named her son Wells, and I was like, yes, I am so happy for her because that name is so cute for a boy. I feel like I saw it from Wells on The Bachelor and I was like, okay, I love this name. I think it's so cool. But I feel like at one point somebody in my life said that they were gonna use it or wanted to use it. And so I was like, okay, I'll strike it from my name list. Then I have the name Ollie. I feel like maybe this goes with the Olivia, Olive, Oliver sequence. And obviously probably a lot of people who have a son named Oliver nickname him Ollie. I don't know if I would go like Oliver just because it's so common. I think, isn't it like top 3 or something? And see, that sometimes just turns me off, and it shouldn't, because Oliver is the cutest name. But Dylan's stepsister's son is named that, so we just wouldn't go with Oliver anyways because of that. But I think Ollie is so cute. Like, I don't know, just like Ollie. And then same with this one, it's a little bit more of like a nickname rather than the full name, but it is Remy. I feel like a lot of people are doing it with Remington, and I feel like that's another one, like it's like Theodore and Theo are becoming popular, Remy, Remington, like that whole thing. But I do think Remy is kind of cute for like a little boy. I picture it as like this like mischievous but like smart little boy. I don't know, just that's what I have in my head. But I think it was just one of those things where I was just like, I don't see us with a Remy. I just don't. I don't know if it's Ratatouille that's just like in my head, or like it just doesn't sound right for us. But that is my list for girls and boys. I feel like if you guys like this, I'm sure I could come up with some more and maybe do like a follow-up TikTok or something on it. The thing is that I'm like a little picky with names, so I feel like for some of the ones that I do think there's the potential of us using at this point, I'm just not gonna share them. But you never know. So much can change on a name list, because I mean, way back in high school, the names that I had were so different. Like, I didn't stick with those. I think for a girl, I thought that Kensington, I had seen that somewhere, and then we studied abroad in London together, and I was like, oh, Kensington's so cute. And now it like, I just feel like it has too much of like a preppy feel for me. Like, that's just not me very much. But I thought that was so cute, and I also thought Landon was cute for a boy. I think those were my top names back in high school. So it's just like funny to see how the name list evolves. But yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. Maybe it gave you some name inspo. Maybe it was just fun to hear some of the names that I like, or just more like hints on baby girl's name. I don't know, but hopefully you enjoyed it, and thank you so much for watching. Obviously more videos coming soon, more pregnancy videos. Like, that is such a major part of my life right now, and I've always dreamed and looked forward to being a mom, so I'm just cherishing every moment of this, and it's just fun getting to like make videos and chat about it with you guys all online. But then I also just like a typical like lifestyle vlog too. So I'll still keep doing a mix of that. I feel like we're rounding out the second trimester pretty soon, so things are about to get real, and hopefully our nursery is gonna get fixed. I don't even want to talk about it, but hopefully I'll get to do some like nursery nesting videos really soon as we get into the summer months. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!